So we're joined by the Caledonian Braves manager, Ricky, today. We're going to just kind of review the season, Ricky. So let's just start from the very beginning, back in July. What was your initial thoughts getting into the first new season as Caledonian Braves?
Well, obviously, we'd kind of set the kind of parameters maybe a bit before that in terms of bringing in players. The year before, or that season that had just finished, we were okay that year, but I just felt the club needed a bit of a clear out, and it needed a kind of change of environment a wee bit, which led me to make changes with players and kind of changes behind the scenes as well. So July obviously brought the kind of start of me trying to put together a squad that was going to compete in the league. It was quite a difficult time looking back on it, because at May, when a lot of clubs have got maybe 50 upwards percent of the squad, we had nothing. But by July, we'd started to make some headway in bringing in some signings, and it was looking a bit more positive at that point.
Was there anyone that you brought in that kind of was a trigger for you that thought, this is how I'm going to build my squad round, or was it just a whole collective of players you already had in mind?
No, there was a huge collective of players that I'd went and watched through various different levels. Even going back to January, February, and looking at reserve games, junior games, SPFL games, Lowland League games, Lowland League development games. So there was all that sort of information collated into positions and certain profiles that I wanted. I knew what sort of way I wanted to play. And it was kind of dictated about how successful I was to bring in certain types of boys. I knew what sort of character I wanted as well. I was a bit disappointed with the character of the guys the year before, because we were all good guys individually. I just felt the mix wasn't right, so I felt I really needed to get that right this season. So I made sure when I was speaking to players that I took my time, and I met them, not all of them 2 or 3 times, but certainly the ones at the beginning that I identified, that I was able to meet them a couple of times to allow me to kind of get an idea of what their personality is, what they're looking for out of a part-time career in football, what's their ambitions, and where's their mentality at, really. So it kind of built a picture for me in order for me to try and go and make them an offer and try and get the deal done at that point. But certainly one specific one, I think it was good to get over the line, and it did kind of make me think that the way I wanted to play, or maybe 2 really, was Ross McNeil, and because Ross is a goal scorer, Ross has got really good attributes, but you need certain players around about him. So another one was Neely McLaughlin. So those 2 were kind of two real coups to say I got them. And following that was obviously Sinky. You start to think about style of play, right, how we want to play. So we've got a couple of football players in there, so you need to progress it from that point of view. And there's obviously others in there as well.
How did it work with yourself and Colin? Was it very much like a team effort between the 2 of you, or did you maybe take more charge of the recruitment side, or was it both you came in with ideas and kind of worked that way?
No, ultimately, the way I look at it, it's my team. So my team on the park, certainly. So I had a real, obviously I spoke with Colin, but I had a real clear way I was looking to try and progress the team for the good or the bad. So but certainly at that particular point, I was I kind of knew Colin had a lot of contacts over in the East. He was a manager across in the East, Berwick and Cowdenbeath, etc. So he brought in a couple of boys maybe on trial from over there. But in the main, I kind of knew where I was going with the recruitment side, and I wanted to take the lead. Ultimately, as the head coach and the manager, it's your responsibility to put a good team out on the pitch. So you need to make sure that you're the one that's leading the charge on that. That's not to say that Colin never done anything. He obviously helped advise. We had plenty of meetings about it at the time, as do me and Richie at the moment.
Cool. So you're looking into pre-season now. You've got your squad of players that's starting to develop. Can you just kind of talk us through what the pre-season was like? Because everyone was coming together, it was all a new group, and maybe talk about some of the results. Were they what you wanted? Because obviously results isn't what you want at pre-season. It's about the game time and seeing how your players fit the formations, etc. But did anything kind of stand out for you during that pre-season?
I think we started pre-season at the end of June. It was 5 weeks before the start of the season to start. So I think we started off with 6 players. I think in our first session we had 6 players, and I'm not saying that's totally unusual, but obviously when you start back, you want a good your squad pretty much back. Sometimes things like holidays and things like that can crop up with part-time players at that particular point. But yeah, it started off with 6 players, 6 signed players. There was 1 or 2 due to come in, a few trialists in amongst that as well. And it just day by day, just it gradually increased into July. What you're talking about, we started maybe getting 3-4 weeks away for the season started. We started to see our squad kind of building up a wee bit more and starting to get a bit excited about it. And then the first game, pre-season game, came around. And then into the other games as well, and we were looking good at that particular point. There was a real freshness about the squad. There was a real cohesion actually, which was surprising when we just put them together for the first time. But they gelled really, really well and really, really quickly. And it wasn't just the stuff on the pitch that you're thinking about, all the tactics and all that side of things. It was the stuff that it was in the background as well, all the Brave stuff, and they'd bought into the club essentially, and I think that feeling got into them, to say that everybody's in this same boat. We've all bought into the club, but it's something new, something fresh. This is how we're going to play, and we're all excited about going to do it. And I think we had a really solid pre-season. I think the only game was a sticky one, was a Whitehall welfare one. But you're going to get that. Obviously, starting the season, the fixture list comes out. You see, right, okay, we've got Edinburgh Uni, then we've got Gretna midweek. And you're starting to think, well, I'm excited about that, and that's a good opportunity to go and get 6 points, which we did, which we started off really, really well, and that set the tone, I think, at that particular point.
Yeah, like you said, so the first game was Edinburgh Uni, and we did kind of set the tone of what you wanted to do. It was a 6-0 win, and I'm pretty sure we'd all agree that we kind of bossed the game. We were very much in control of against a good side at the time. What was your kind of initial thoughts before and after that game? Just to kind of, obviously the excitement, but after that game, what did you think? Did you get carried away at all, or did you think we just need to think this is game 1?
Definitely didn't get carried away, because I think actually if we look at the game back, the first 20 minutes they had a bit of play. They had quite a bit of the ball. They had a couple of opportunities, which they do in any game, Edinburgh Uni normally, because they do have some players. They've not had their best season, but they do have some players that can hurt you. Even getting into the other game that we played against them, they could have scored early on. So I knew what it was all about, but we got good goals, and we got goals at the right time. And it was actually great just to sit back. You're 4-0 up, first game of the season. You think, okay, this game's won. There's 10 minutes to go. I can sit back and relax a wee bit and just watch a little bit, and put some players on from the bench. So it was good for that point of view. Gretna was obviously a test. We got Dom sent off, early in the game. I can't remember exact minutes, and we were down at half time. And but even at that, you could feel it. There was a good vibe about the place at that particular point. It was great. I think it again set the tone, because we were always ones that were going to score. I think if you look at our team on paper, and we certainly done that. Obviously, scoring 6 goals against Edinburgh, and then coming from behind to beat Gretna was great.
Yeah. So after that, the Gretna game was pretty much the first home game that we'd ever played. But
yeah,
because it was a midweek game, and the game against Celtic, we kind of built that up to be our kind of first, basically home game at Lions Park. How did that feel for you personally? Just get into that game. Do you think there was kind of a lot of hype put around it because of the kind of scenario that was going to be the first home game, especially against a team who had kind of set a benchmark that they were going to challenge for the title this year and put together a great squad, and this was going to be probably our first real challenge?
Yeah, I think it was more so our first big challenge against a team that had put a lot of money into it, right? So when it wasn't our first home game, the Gretna game was our first home game. So, but there was more attention to this game because it was Kelty, more attention to it because the film was getting finalised. It was a Saturday afternoon, so that type of thing all led to kind of feel that sort of first sort of game vibe about it. But no, we were confident going into it, and we knew they were strong. It was a very difficult period to get them in because it started off well himself. And I knew we were young. We were going into the game with Dom suspended, so it was that point of view that we were thinking, right, okay, that's one we would delight to have been in the squad. I think on the day, looking back, I think we probably didn't do ourselves as justice on that particular day. Kelty played well, played well enough, done enough to win the game. Showed their quality. Nathan Austin showed his pace and his striker prowess to score his goals. But they were better us on the day, and I was disappointed in the end up because we didn't show on that type of day. Everybody being there, how good we could be, how good we were in the previous couple of games, and even into pre-season. So that was a bit of a reality check, I think, in that particular game.
See, taking it off the park, was that the first moment when you realised you'd seen Alliance Park quite well filled out, albeit it might have been a lot of Kelty fans, but at the same time, was that the first moment you kind of realised that you'd hit a good benchmark of where the projects came from?
Oh, without a doubt. I don't know if it was the first part. I think maybe getting into the season and training, getting into pre-season and training at your own place, and you've got the fixtures obviously coming up. So I wouldn't say it was the first point, but Gretna, obviously was a bit of a point as well on the Wednesday before. And then obviously the Saturday, obviously was a bit fuller, and it felt like. It kind of felt like our club, felt like a new sort of beginning from where we've been in the past. Not specifically that day, but just the start of the season as a whole, the first couple of home games, the first training sessions, it felt like our place was here, and then we're looking to start the journey almost.
Yeah. So after that game, probably one of the biggest blows that you may have had to your squad was Reedy got himself injured during training, and if I remember rightly, it wasn't a lot of contact to what happened. Just the way he went down. How big a loss was that for you so early on, losing your captain?
Yeah, he's captain and obviously experienced player. It was a big loss at the time for sure, because I brought Reedy in to be that experienced guy, a guy who played at a slightly higher level, and you always need that little bit of experience in your team to kind of steady the ship a little bit when things are going not so good, when you're under pressure and things. So from that point of view, it kind of put us in a scenario where we lacked a bit of experience at the back, and that probably told. But that's football. You've got to deal with it, and the boys who stepped in, have to learn from that. And I think that's where this season, getting into this season, looking back and taking the negatives and turning those ones into a positive, we'll hopefully be in a better place.
The next biggest kind of challenge that we had was going away to East Kilbride. Just kind of talk us through that game and what you're thinking going into it, despite losing that game against Kelty that we did, like you mentioned, you thought we played well at times. Did you go in thinking you were going to win that game, or were you just going in and seeing what would happen?
No, yeah. Honestly, I went in thinking we were going to win the game. I just had that feeling about us. I was disappointed, obviously, the Kelty result, but I knew, and we spoke about it the whole week in the lead up, that you need to prove you're better than that. We don't want to be losing the goals that we lost there, and we had a really good training week that particular week, and went to a back three at that particular point for that East Kilbride game. I felt we could overload them in the middle of the park. I felt we had pace enough to recover using the back three, and I felt we could hurt them in certain areas. We had pace and errors in the wider areas, so I really felt it was a good opportunity, and that proved to be the case. It was an excellent day. That was really, really good performance against a good side who had obviously looked to build his team Malky at the time to go and challenge.
Yeah. What did it feel like coming after that game, going into that BSE game, and what probably the worst result we've had this season? Was it did it kind of hit you there that we can play well, but we need to work on things, or was there anything?
Yeah, no, that was the moment I thought we we weren't going to. I'm not saying we were never going to be as good as I thought. That's not true. We weren't going to be as consistent as I would have liked. Is probably the phrase. We didn't deal with Jack, for example. Jack McDowell. He was injured in the warm up. Had to change their shape because of that. Obviously, had Reedy out. We had Blair out as well, I think, from memory. And no, I think Blair played that game actually. I think it was a week after. But it's not absolutely no excuse. But we needed we needed really that team that played against East Kilbride just to train that whole week and carry itself through into BSC. And we needed to start well. We didn't start well. Like I said, I changed my shape, forced my hand in that particular game. And for me, we didn't have enough experience on the park at the back. And that was probably a game I felt we really did miss experience at the back in Reedy. But you need to live and learn. But that was a reality check, that one. That's for sure. And I felt I was disappointed. That's as disappointed as I've been with any of the teams that I've took. Because I had such high hopes, and I felt on our day we could go and compete with BSC, but they were better than us and stronger than us on that day.
Yep. You mentioned it there. The next kind of blip we had in the season was Blair got injured, and I think he was one of the players that came in and had such a positive start. I mean, he scored 4 goals in the first 2 games. Was that a bit of a loss for you as well? Just kind of looking going forward.
Well, he was in a good place. His form was really, really good, and he was scoring goals. Out with Roscoe and Neil and Wince, maybe a bit more laterally. That Wince came into kind of goal scoring form. But Blair was one. He was enjoying being a first team player. He was, he had a real spring in his step, and his quality was really, really good. So it was a loss. It was because he gave us energy as well, and that kind of youthful. Sort of, no fear. He came from playing under 20s football at Morton. He was looking for a chance, and he's such a brilliant boy as well. Great attitude. So I really felt for him, and it upset the team to a certain degree.
Yeah. The next kind of big point in the season coming up was in September when the Scottish Cup came round. What was your kind of thoughts getting into that game against Rothes? Because obviously we'd played them before. And this was going to be the first kind of time the Scottish Cup is Caledonian Braves, and maybe just a bit of a disappointment of going out considering the kind of late comeback. But how do you think we played that day as well?
I don't think we deserved to go through. I was again disappointed with that. That was a big moment, big opportunity for us. And I think we maybe built it up similar to the Celtic game. Maybe put too much pressure on the guys. I don't know. But I knew it was a big game, and that for the younger players like Nicky Hogarth who started, and Blair in that game, and then a few, some other, the younger ones of the squad. That was a game they had to realise that this is man's football. This is about winning. This is about money. This is about getting through to the next round, getting a bit more money for the club, getting an opportunity to draw a bigger club, getting an opportunity in the shop window as a club, as a player. And you can't let those pass. And we unfortunately let that pass with a bit of a whimper. I felt Rothes were better than us on the day. I didn't think Rothes were, all due respect, I don't think they were a particularly brilliant side, but they were better than us on that particular day, and they deserved. We had that late flurry, but we just couldn't get it going on that day. We just, for whatever reason, and that happens in football, but we picked a bad day for that to happen. So that was a disappointment, because I'd set my targets to go a couple of rounds further than we did, obviously.
Did you think the injury to John Gee early on set a tone, or did you think straight from the off that you didn't think it was going to be our day?
No, I've always thought it was going to be our day. I think I remember in the last 10 minutes bawling and shouting, still believing that we could claw this back and take them to a replay and beat them up there. Once we'd kind of realised, that come on guys, this is a doable thing here. We're just not playing well, and we've got to deal with that. So we never got to that draw scenario. John Gee upset the balance a little bit. It didn't upset the result. I don't think it upset him having to come off early, which is always a challenge. But you've got to deal with that. It's football. You've got to deal with that as a coach and as players run about. And that's where I'm looking for leadership on the park to say, right, okay, let's look at this scenario, deal with it well, and then try and move forward from it. So that hopefully we've learned that this year.
Yeah, well, we'll move on and go to a bit of a high again. So in October, we after our kind of thriller against Dalbeattie, the 5-5 draw, which that kind of speaks for itself. We went to Spartans, another great team in this league, and beat them 3-1. And we scored a great goal that day. Craig Quinn made his debut and impressed, and I don't know if that maybe kind of put him more in your mindset after that game. And we scored that great goal. And one thing I remember that after that goal, it was your reaction. And I don't know if you just kind of was there a moment when that third goal went in, you thought, well, that was a great result. That's one of the best results we've had this season.
Yeah, I think if you compare it to the year before, we didn't manage to beat Spartans. We didn't manage to beat East Kilbride, those types of teams. So I felt, a win against East Kilbride, we got that. I wanted that against BSC. Spartans, I wanted it as well. Obviously, I felt we would show that would show us a bit of progress, albeit it was on the back of a 5-5 draw with Dalbeattie. So, there's an argument there, obviously, to be had. I felt it was going to be a football game, and it was a good opportunity. I had no hesitation flinging Craig in. Craig had trained really, really hard. He came to the club injured. I gave him an opportunity. Never gave me a moment's bother. Didn't get an opportunity on the pitch. Was patient and flung him in, and he paid that back absolutely no end. And I just felt in that game that it was a proper football game in that particular day. Spartans had a bit of the ball, we had a bit of the ball. Both teams were trying to play in a good fashion, and I just think that goal typified us as a team. And when I speak about, and the boys speak about trying to play good football, trying to play entertaining style of football that's effective, that typifies it. That goal right there, and it's not the only one either. That we can do that. So there was a bit of relief after the game. There was a bit of what do you call it? Convincing. Not that I had to convince myself, but maybe other people around about. To the league. To say, look, we've had a couple of dodgy results, a couple of brilliant results, but this one here today's been a really good result, and I felt it was a crucial time, starting the next kind of 10-game middle part of the season.
Yeah. That game, especially in a couple of games before, and to be honest, the whole month of October, Davy Winters was on fire. Was that a huge part to that kind of, like you said, it was after those 10 games and going into the next 10? Was his experience, him coming in, him playing so well, I think he scored 6 goals, 5 games, or even more at the time. Was that for you, was that an important part of the season?
No, it was, because Davy obviously got injured. If you remember, he got injured in grass on the Edinburgh Uni game. I think it was his hamstring, so he was out for a fair bit. So getting him back up to a fitness, Davy's a good influence in the changing room, on the park. We needed that experience. You do need that experience. You really, really do, to guide you through games. And he did. He hit a real kind of purple patch, that he was fit and he was playing well, and the team was playing well. And in the Spartans game, going back to that, we worked really hard on the Thursday. I say really hard, it wasn't an intensive session, it was more real tactical session on what we're speaking about, defending simple things, clearing it, things that we didn't do well against Dalbeattie. Speak about second balls, and Davy, using experience, worked that in the game really, really well, and led the group in there really, really well on the day on the pitch. So, and that was needed, taking the messages that we give them on the training and taking that into Saturdays. That's what I expect from experienced players. Plus, he played really, really well himself, and he hit that purple patch. So it was a vital, because you're not going to get Ross and Nearly scoring every week. You need to get contributions from others as well. And we got that for Davy.
Yeah. After the end of that month, Colin had left. He joined Airdrie with going under Ian Murray. How did that impact the club? And how was the transition period from when Colin left to Richie coming
in? It's not a difficult time, relatively speaking, but certainly Colin was a big loss for me personally. He's been a guy, he was one of the gang, he was part of Edu Sport and then the Braves and taking the 20s. He'd been at Edu for a long time, along with myself, worked with him closely, and me and him formed a good friendship, a good working partnership, a good working relationship. He knew kind of how to work with me, and I knew how to work with him. So that was a absolute big loss for me, but understood his decision, respected it, and obviously wished him well. And it obviously led into a wee period where I was, it probably caught me unawares. It happened so quickly. It was a call on the Sunday, and then he was away by, the midweek, I think. So you can't really prepare for that. So obviously I had to kind of do as much as I can myself. I think we got Chris Divers to help out, Si Menson. So that was important for that wee transitional period, that we had a wee backup of staff, Edu Sport Academy, the academy guys, staff. So that helped. But obviously, you're going into a period where a wee bit uncertain. That I'd had names flung at me, a couple of calls, but Richie appealed to me because I looked at my own strengths and weaknesses, and I feel Richie compliments me quite well on that. But also as well, Richie, he knows about the EduSport programme, and he knew about Caledonian Braves from playing against us, obviously, and working in football. And I liked the fact he phoned me up. He phoned me up and we had a good conversation, and he was really positive on the phone. Richie, I hope he doesn't mind me saying it, he comes across a little bit maybe drier, but there's absolutely more than meets the eye with Richie, and it's worked out a good appointment for him. And he's a loyal guy, and he's got good values, old school values, if you like. And he's obviously taking his time to get used to working with me. So there's that balance there to be had. So, but that's I think early on it was difficult because everybody was used to calling. Even under 20s, everybody was used to calling the younger guys. But Chris Divers came in, it was a fresh face, new ideas, and he done obviously really, really well. Same with Richie with the first team. Bit of time to get used to the way I work, and a bit of time for the boys to get used to it. But it gradually got there, I think.
Mm. So we kind of moved into kind of like the November, December time, and I'm interested to hear what you thought of December as a whole, because we started off with two good wins. Maybe the Edinburgh Uni game wasn't the best of games at the time the way we played, but we went and we played well against Gretna, scored 5 goals, and then we've got the disappointing results against East Kilbride and Berwick. How would you sum up December as a month? Was it kind of a disappointing one if you look back on it, or did you kind of see those results coming?
I wouldn't say I've seen them coming. I felt I would have liked a better result against Berwick. I thought at the time I thought they played better than us if I worked back the way from the Berwick game, which was I think in between Christmas and New Year. I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I felt we could have got a draw out of it, but we didn't play particularly well on that day down at Berwick, and they'll say that they deserved the 3 points, so fair enough with that. But I felt we could have snatched a draw on that day. East Kilbride scored in the first half, the cross ball down for left side. Again, probably a game that we could have snatched something from, but probably didn't deserve to win that game over the piece. And the previous two was the Edinburgh Uni and what was the other one? Gretna, that's right. The Gretna game was excellent. That's right, because the boys were going on their night out that night, so they were obviously buzzing for it. But no, the Gretna game was great. I was probably concerned about that one. Away to Gretna, horrible day, wet, windy, pitch was heavy. I'm not saying what's our attitude, because attitudes were always excellent, but have we got the battling qualities for that? I was probably unsure at that time that we did, and obviously won that convincingly, scored good goals, good times, and weathered a bit of a storm in the first 20 minutes of the second half. The Edinburgh Uni game before that was quite a horrible game, but we got through it. It was one I expected to get through. We didn't get through it with any particularly great quality, but we did. We got the win. Scored a good goal on that day as well, actually, but I think we deserved it on that day. So it was. I would have liked, if I looked at that, 9 points out of the 12 at those 4 games, would have been a good return. We got 6 points. You're thinking maybe a draw against Berwick might have been a wee bit fairer. But I couldn't really, looking back, I couldn't complain too much, I don't think.
Do you think that kind of sums up how we were as a team for the full season that month?
Yeah, I think we were. I think it was pretty much it. There was obviously extremes of BSC and East Kilbride and Kelty and Gretna and that sort of run of 4 games. But, that 4 games would kind of bed our next 4 games that you're speaking about now, the Edinburgh Uni, Gretna, etc. That we kind of bedded ourselves in as a team, but we weren't as consistent as I'm not saying as we should have been, because we were a new team and it's probably to be expected. We get younger players making their debuts. In the Lowland League and first team football. So there is an element that you need to sit back and say, well, do you know what? That was to be expected. But hopefully, again, I'll say it again, hopefully we've learned for that and we move on from that type of inconsistency.
Yeah, just kind of sticking with December, like, as we're recording, as I was speaking with Ross McNeil yesterday about, obviously he scored the first goal for the club. He also scored the 50th goal for the club in all competitions, but that was by December. Is that what you wanted to do? Did you want, because that's a fair amount of goals from the start of July into December, 50 goals. So is that what you wanted to do? Did you want to implement a team that could be a bit free scoring at times?
Yeah, I suppose my mindset in terms of football, anytime I'm setting up things, I'm thinking about how can we score? Which ways we're going to score, And you either have that or you say, right, I don't want to score first and foremost, don't want to let the opposition score. And of course you've got to work on that. But there's an element of, you're starting a fresh team. You want to say, the boys, all the players, they want to kind of play good football. That's exciting, attacking football, and creating opportunities to try and score. So you've got to kind of run with that, and you've got to say, right, let's try and implement things in training that encourages that, and then you hope on a Saturday and then game day the boys take that into the match itself, and they've done that, scoring that many goals. And that's what I wanted. But by that time, I'm probably thinking, what, we need to shut that back door. You know what I mean? We're losing too many goals, stupid goals. And it's lower league football, and that happens. That does happen. There's no team that doesn't lose stupid goals. You look at the best levels in the world, they'll lose stupid goals. But I just felt we were losing too many at that particular point. And then that was an area that we need to strengthen. I looked to try and strengthen in at January, but maybe wasn't the right time, right personnel about. Excuse me. So that obviously leads us to now. But I think for anybody watching, it's exciting watching a team that's free scoring. So for that reason, I think it's a positive.
Yeah. Around this time, this is when Reedy started the return as well. And I know for myself, I noticed as soon as he was brought on against Edinburgh Uni, he showed his leadership qualities, and then he'd been out for so long, but he instantly jumped kind of straight back into it. It didn't take him long to kind of become that prominent figure of the team. Was that did you think that was going to be a turning point in the season again, or did you just kind of expect that everything would fall in place from the start?
No, I felt I kind of looked at it from last season as well. I felt that we had a terrible run the season before. I think it was 8 that we didn't get a win, and I wanted to desperately avoid that. I felt really coming back in, it just steadied the ship, and we didn't. We obviously get beat against East Kilbride, get beat against Berwick, so you don't want that wee habit to set in. And saying that, I know like really came back for the Edinburgh Uni game, but I felt going forward into those games after, and the end of December, start of January, really would help us with just steadying the ship a wee bit. And he done that, and you're right what you say, when he came on right back against Edinburgh Uni, you could see right away, I think we were under a bit of pressure on that at that particular point in the game. They scored a freak kind of goal. It was a mix-up for us, and then, we're got a 1-goal lead, but he came on, steadied the ship, cleared the ball, done what defenders do, done the ugly side of the game. So it kind of helped to steady things going into January.
Yeah, January was a bit of slightly similar to December as well. You think if you look at the first 2 games, so you've got the 4-1 win over Vale Leiden, which game against Bottom League, you would like to think that you would go and put a challenge in against them and see what you could do, but we played really well that day. And then the week after, we're getting beat 3-1 by Gallagher in a similar, and as the season went on, it ended up in a similar boat as we were. Was that, like we said about the tail of the season, is that kind of the tail of the season there, that we could go get results against teams, but then sometimes it would just we don't know what would happen, but we just kind of faltered?
Yeah, I think with the Vale game, we deserved to win that game. We had a good poor first half, good second half. Gala, we were poor on that day. We were really, really poor. Didn't turn up, didn't play well enough. The energy about us for whatever reason, but that happens. That's football. That happens. And with all due respect to us, I suppose we're no good enough. We're not been long enough in it to go and win every game. It's just not going to be to not have those days and maybe grind the result out. So that takes a bit of time. That takes experience and by players and everybody else involved. Gala, well, people think about Gala, didn't have a great start to the season, but they're a good side. They're similar to ourselves. There's that kind of group in the middle of the league. They're all quite similar, and I include ourselves in that. Hopefully we look to break free from that and crack on, and that's for maybe later on. But I just felt our results against teams round about us, Cumbernauld Colts, that one against Cumbernauld Colts, Gala, weren't as good as they maybe could have been. Maybe could have nicked a draw or ground out a result, a good positive 3 points here and there. But that was just the team we were. That kind of summed up our season in a way, but not in a negative way, just in a realistic way, I suppose.
Yeah. Move on to kind of February, which I kind of thought of as kind of I think we spoke about as well, as kind of like a promising month because we had that run of fixtures. I'm going to include the BSC game in January into this. But so that was started with the 4-1 defeat to BSC. Were BSC the toughest team we came up against this season, would you say?
For different reasons, yeah. But potential, I think BSC and Kelty are teams that they're different in the way they play, but Kelty's got very good individuals, good experience, but BSC's a very good side, fit, energetic, direct, but good players as well. So that was a challenge I felt in that particular game, Roy, that we defended in the game quite well, but we lost goals from set plays, and when you do that, you can defend as well as you want in games, but if you lose goals for set plays, then you're going to lose games. So I think that was the difference on the day. Do I think we deserved to win that game? Probably not. We could have stole something from it, but it would have been a steal, I think, if I'm being honest. So yeah, BSC they're a good side, but they've proved that. I mean, they've done well in the Scottish Cup, so it was always going to be a difficult game. They were obviously on the front foot as well. I think they played the week before in the Scottish Cup and hammered East Kilbride, so they're going to be encouraged by that performance as well.
When the fixture list comes out and you see like when it gets to that kind of just after that midpoint of season in January, February time, that you've got BSC, Kelty, Civil Service, and Bonnyrigg all in one go. How do you think? Do you relish that as a challenge, as personally, or do you think and go, this could be a really tough one when you want to?
Well, we relished it definitely because that's what you want to do. You want to go and prove yourself against the kind of teams that are doing well. And we'd said that, and I'd said, you'd spoke. We said, right, we need to get a good result against that top four team, and we kind of were really working towards that. BSC, Kelty. Again, Kelty, I thought we played really well up until the last 25 minutes. And we maybe lost a couple of goals, and it went that way. And then we had actually had a few defeats on the row at that point. And you're thinking, right, okay, let's go into civil service. You're thinking, right, let's not go down that route of getting in the losing habits. We're a good side, very, very good side. Workmanlike, difficult to play against, counter attack really, really well. Good manager, organised all that, and then we produced that kind of strange result.
Yeah, talk us through that. How did it feel when it was the penalty were in and it was 2 each? Did you ever envisage a 7-2 with 20?
No, I certainly did not. But as we kept playing and we kept scoring, I really wanted, I wanted more, and we had that mindset. I just felt that mindset because we knew it was a kind of big game that we could win, but a big game that we could also lose as well. So we had that real steely mentality to say, look, this is not going to happen this week. You're going to win this game. We felt we had played well. We were on the back of some good performances, but no results. So we felt, if we could really, play well, we would go and get a win, but we won it emphatically in the end, and we just kept going, and it was almost that point where everything that we hit goes in, and it was great. I was so pleased for the guys on that day, because that was a tough challenge to overcome.
Yeah, Neil's been a great player all season, and I think they'll be recognised by the end of the season anyway. But that was the game for me that realised the kind of quality of a player he was. I know everything was kind of going away at the time, which makes it so much easier for the players to score goals. But for him to get a hat trick that day, did that kind of prove to you why you brought him to the club at the time?
Yeah, he's got one thing that you can't take away from any player, and that's good quality. He's got that quality finish, that quality touch, quality pass that unlocks defences, and he still needs to add things to his game. As we now spoke about that, but he's just got that wee thing that can win you a game. There's always these players throughout the years, you'll have seen yourself, that can just win you a game. Don't take part in the game sometimes, but they can just pop up and fire one into the top corner from nothing, and that's vital. You need to have that in your team. You need to obviously have the balance, and it's not just about Neil, it's about the supporting players round about him, and the players round about Roscoe, the goal scorers that we're talking about. Other guys have had good seasons as well, so it's important to note that. Guys who have played first year in the first team, you've got John Guthries. Dom, I think, had a relatively good year. Certainly finished the year strong. So we could go through a lot of the guys. Craig Quinn, first year back in Scotland from his university in America. So there's a lot of positives there, yeah.
Yeah, so the last two games were against top opposition as well. We had Bonnyrigg at home, and then we went away to East Stirlingshire. One thing that me and you were talking back and forward in our interviews were, like, do you think we could win this game? And you said every time, I believe my team can win in any game. Did you see, going into that really tough run of fixtures, did you really believe that you could win every game as possible? Or, like, is that a mentality that
aye. No, yeah, I fancied herself all the time, and there's always that doubt we're going to lose a stupid goal. That was just us last year, but I always felt we were capable of scoring, and I always felt on our day we could, and we could put in a run of consistent form, and that was the key to it. Could we put in a run of 3, 4, 5 games consistently? Turns out we weren't quite there last season. But I always felt we could win on any given day when you ask the question. And the Bonnyrigg game, felt we played really, really well. Didn't deserve to get beat. And then going into the East Stirling game, I felt it was a real opportunity. People say, "Oh, there's not much to play in the league and this and that," but East Stirling had, Betfred place to play for, things like that. So there was a lot from that point of view to play for. But we had to prove again that we could beat one of the teams in the top four, which was an objective in itself for the season, because I felt we hadn't performed well enough against the top four teams.
Yeah, just quickly talk about that game, the East Stirling game, because I remember you saying that I think it might have been the half-time team talk or the full-time team talk, that you didn't think we'd blow them away, but we collectively as a performance, that was probably one of the best you kind of seen as us. We weren't great, but we still grinded out a really important result.
Yeah, exactly. Aye, and that you probably couldn't say that too many times about us. We want to play particularly well, but we ground out against a really good side, who've got a lot of good experience in there. And going in, I think they scored like 44, 45 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah.
And after us going 1-0 up, you're like, right, okay, here we go. So that half time was particularly important, and you could feel it in the guys though. That they had that bit of resilience in them that day. But we defended well. We done the basics well, and that's your fundamental, that's your foundation of any good performance, doing those basics really, really well. And on that particular day, we did do that.
Yeah. After that, we ended up, which turned out to be the last game of the season, unfortunately, was the defeat to Dunnipace. Do you wish the season just finished that 1 week earlier?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's one of those disappointing ones. It was no great to finish on that, because we were poor that day. We didn't play well enough at all. I didn't feel Dunnipace were a great side, all due respect, but they beat us on the day, and I just felt we weren't at it for whatever reason, and had a right good go at them at the end of the game. And I'm kind of disappointed it finished on that because the players don't deserve that. But I think we need to look at the season as a whole and not just that one game to kind of finish on if we're kind of dissecting things. But that was disappointing because there was an opportunity to go to a semi-final, which I was desperate to do.
Yeah. So that's all the games that we had played, and obviously this season's been probably the strangest season in football since probably like the war. Like it's been really weird that it's had to finish so early with the COVID-19 situation. Just how would you sum up obviously you've kind of dissected through that there, but how would you sum up the season as a whole for you personally as a team?
No, I think it's been a real positive experience. In the times it's been negative, it's been a real positive learning experience. And not to dress that up in any way because there's been some times, but that's football. That's the way it goes. And you try and be not too high when things go well and not too low when they don't go so well. But I think if we sum up, it's been a really good start. It's given us a real good foundation to Caledonian Braves. I feel the squad's in a good place. I know I need to add positions. I need to add, experience to certain positions in order to challenge in that top four. I'm obviously working really hard, myself and Richie, to go and do that. So, from that point of view, looking back, I think it was, like I say, positive, set good foundations, let everybody know where we are at the moment, and then it's now about taking that and then progressing it.
Okay. On a personal point, I think something you've said throughout the season is this is your squad of players. You've built this team. Is this maybe one of your proudest moments as a manager this season?
I don't really speak about myself that way, but I feel it was a real challenge last season. Real challenge having no players and thinking, right, okay, I need to bring this squad together and to match ambitions. And me and Chris speak a lot, and we know what we want to do, and I feel me and him are a good team together, and we've overcame so much. So much negativity, so much criticism of him behind the scenes, me kind of on the park type of thing, and I felt a real duty to go and put a squad together that we could be proud of. I think I managed to do that, and that was a challenge. So the next challenge is now is to take that to the next level. So I'm proud of that achievement that we've put together a squad for nothing and became a team, got our own place. That we've done that now, so we need to look to what's next. And what I will say is the guys have been absolutely wonderful, like the best team to work with, and brilliant in terms of attitude and mentality and all that sort of stuff. Definitely things to be improved upon. They've been open to improving, which is a huge thing for a coach to say about his team. So for me, it's onwards and upwards.
Cool. We'll just finish there. That looking forward to next season. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen. Anything could kind of happen. But if you're thinking looking into next season, if it was going normally, what would be your thoughts going into it, and what's your kind of goals or objectives for that?
I mean, it's really the same as it is now. The season for me is done. It's over and done. I'm not saying I forget about it, but we pick up the points for that and move forward the learning stuff. So I would like to think that we're more resilient at the back next year. I'm working hard to add personnel to help us do that. I want to score more goals. I'm not saying that's an objective, but I feel with the players that I'm looking to bring in and add and try and kind of change things up a wee touch, that I can go and do that. I want a higher place finish. I would love to challenge for the league. I just couldn't say that to you right now. But we're in this, but you're in football, not to survive, not to do anything other than win things. That's what you want to do, and you want to win it with a group of players that you can be proud of. And I think again, we need to take that up to that level. I know I answered that question before, but that emotional side is a part of it. So objectives, it's difficult to make just now, Roy, to say we want to finish here and there. I know what I would like. I want to challenge for the league. I would love to finish in the top four if we can't challenge for the league. I want to get a Betfred place. I want to score more goals. I want to be more resilient at the back. Want to progress the players individually. I want to progress the staff, myself included, and just continue that journey on to better things.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us again, Ricky.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.